Hi, and welcome to another edition of Jules Voto's Photo Focus. In this video, I'm going to be talking about photographing people in public. Should you ask their permission or just shoot away candidly or try to hide your camera or hold it at waist level and take some shots? So, we're going to be looking at some pictures here that I took on a recent cruise, both on the ship and walking around the various ports and the city of Miami. So this one here was in Nassau, and I was taking a picture of the sign, and this is one where I was just pleasantly surprised after looking at the images when I got home to see their heads and their feet through the sign. So I thought that was a really cool shot. Now, in a lot of cases, let's say you're photographing a mountain, or in this case, a cruise ship, and mountains are huge, cruise ships are huge. In order to show the size of it, you need people in the picture, and you can see that here, especially with those people who are close to the ship. This is one I cropped it square. I love square images. I just like the composition of these gentlemen preparing to help dock the ship. And I was just looking down on them. They were at the bow of the ship, and I was above. And I just thought this was a cool composition, especially that one gentleman with his arm extended kind of connected them. Here are some people up on the rock wall on the back of the ship. And I took a bunch of shots here using my 24 to 200 Nikkor zoom, and I just love that lens for these type of pictures because here I kind of zoomed in. I could move back, and no permission needed for any of these pictures. Now this one here, I was shooting, there was a column in front of me, some type of support column near the back of the ship, and I just liked the way it worked out because that column was out of focus and softened the front of her face. Now here these people are watching their kids up climbing on the wall, and it was just so easy to get these pictures. Nobody even noticed me. So many people on a cruise ship have cameras, and this was a really easy shot to take. And we were still in port, or the ship was actually leaving on its way towards the ocean. And here is another one where I cropped it square. I just thought the composition looked great square. Now I have a video on shooting square with your digital camera, and I will put a link in the description below to that video. So I shot a bunch of pictures back here, at the back of the boat as these kids were climbing on the rock wall, and using the 24 to 200 zoom, it was easy to go zoom in, zoom out, and get a bunch of different compositions. This one, I thought it looked like she was holding a sword, but she's hanging onto some type of rope. And here the woman who was supervising the climbing looks like she's about to go up the wall herself. Now this was one of a couple being photographed by one of the ship's photographers. And I was at a distance, I kind of zoomed in, but I just liked the way it looked, their positioning, and then all the columns for the lights on the ship. Now here's a lifeguard, all in red. I just thought the red looked good, contrasted with the blue, with the lounge chairs in the background, and that little yellow painted area on the edge of the pool. So this was both, color really played a big part of this as well as composition. And, again, pictures like this, no problem. I don't think he saw me photographing him, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. I know there were some where he did see me. No problem. They're used to being photographed. This is one where I was above this gentleman. This was early in the morning. He was walking on the walking path. Actually, one of those paths is for walking, one is for jogging, and this gentleman was moving along. This was really early in the morning, and he was taking a selfie. So, I mean, I like the way this looks with the curve of the ship and the walking path, but it's so much better with a person in the image. Now, one morning I was having breakfast, I was sitting in the buffet, and I looked up and I noticed these people walking by, and I just thought it made for an interesting picture. You're always looking for something different, something more interesting. Here's a couple gentlemen as the ship was coming into port. They helped guide it in and toss the ropes down to the people on the ground to tie the ship up. And as the ship was coming in, I noticed these guys looking over the side, looked like kitchen workers. They were watching what was going on. Then I tried to move to get a more interesting composition, to have them framed within this with this ironwork here. But the gentleman on the right here just looked away, and could have been a better picture. This was in Miami, and again, shot from behind, no permission needed, just thought it looked cool with the silhouettes. Not a great picture. This gentleman had been watching the sunrise with his coffee cup, and I don't know, I just liked the contrast, the sun on his face, and the green supports on the windows there, the frames of the windows on the front of the ship. Now this reminded me of those old movies where there was some type of a head, usually a woman mounted on the front of the ship, and he's standing on the other side of this support here, but I thought it was something a little different. So now we were in Nassau, took a walk around right where the ship docks. There's a bunch of shops, and just all the people going different directions, carrying shopping bags. I just thought that was interesting. Again, just a candid shot, like the color and the shadow of the tree. Now this is an old style English mailbox. This was in Freeport. And I took this picture, and then this gentleman appears, and he said, well, why don't you get my sign in the picture? So he holds up the sign. I said, well, why don't you stay in the picture? Why don't you get in the picture? So he runs some type of a transportation service, cabs, buses, whatever. And I got his email and sent him a copy of the picture. So, you could always do that. Just offer a picture, and people are very cooperative. Now, these carvings you see here were done by this gentleman. So he did some beautiful work, canes and various other carvings, sculptures, whatever you want to call them. And I asked his permission. I said, what, can I get some pictures of you working? He said, sure. You want me looking at the camera? Do you want me? I said, both. Let's do both. So I went into his little shop there, and he was working on this cane. And I just took a bunch of shots. And same thing, got his email. When I got back home, I picked several out, actually the ones you see here, and I sent them to him. I was able to get some detail shots, some wider shots, showing a lot of his work. And most people, if you ask their permission and you want them to do something, they'll do it. They'll pose for you. Most people are very cooperative. Not everyone, but a lot of people are. And this is the name of his shop, Unique Arts and Crafts. So if you're ever in Freeport, stop by and talk to Brian. Great guy. And here he is with some potential customers. Now, I noticed these people crossing the street right after I took those previous pictures, and the gentleman has one of Brian's canes, so I thought that was cool. Now, this woman was wandering around the market and looked a lot like another woman who was separately wandering around the market. And then I realized a little later that they were sisters, because they really looked a lot alike. And, again, no permission on this. I just fired away at a distance, probably at 200 millimeters on this one. And here's her sister, I believe, who was seated, and I just moved around and got this shot with that blue background. It was just some canvas, I believe, hanging on the side of one of the stores. And here they are together, I guess, discussing their purchases a little while later. So just shoot away. If you're shy, shoot more candidly, hold the camera at your side, whatever. But these two ladies, I went in to get a drink. It was Maxie's Mixed Drinks, and they made me a really good mango and rum drink, and I asked their permission to take their picture. They picked up these coconuts with drinks, shot away. I was able to get some really nice pictures, and when I got home, I sent these two that you see here. I emailed them to them. So just don't be shy. Go up to people if you think they, make an interesting picture. Just ask their permission. This was totally candid on the ship, and the last few you're going to see here are the same thing. One from above, and thought that was very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I usually come out with a new video every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I will talk to you then. And again, thanks for watching.